Welcome back to another anime review, this time the Unaware Atelier Meister. Let's go over the description from AniList one last time. One day, Kurt, a kind-hearted boy, is suddenly kicked out of the hero's party for being useless. He finds that his aptitude for magic, weapons and all other combat-related skills is the lowest rank. So he takes odd jobs, repairing the castle walls and digging for minerals to make a living. His exceptional abilities are immediately revealed. He proves to be skillful in cooking, building, mining, crafting magical tools. In fact, his aptitude for every skill unrelated to combat had an SSS ranking. Kurt, however, seems completely unaware to his talent and ends up saving people, the town, and even the country through his unaware actions. Now, as you see on the name, this is like the normal light novel copy paste. We have like some kind of story and we need to stand out, so our title is as long as it possibly could and more or less tells everything that is going to happen. Now the start, we are part of, or our main character Kurt is part of the bigger party and he's getting thrown out. Now I do not like this opening at all, especially because these parties are then being painted as comic villains, like as the worst kind of people. Now this one is just the start point. It's like, hey, he was part of this group, he gets thrown out, leave the group behind, we now follow this party from our main character Kurt. Now I don't have anything against that. It's like, hey, we need to start the story somewhere, and instead of having his whole childhood and the whole history explained, we just start right here. Okay, fine. So he is really bad at combat. Okay, but he's good at everything else. Fine, you can make a lot of interesting stuff happening with this. Like building a lot of stuff, supporting people, whatever. Now, pretty early on, we have from my anime list, when Ulysses, which is the hand girl on his left, informs Kurt about his potential rank, he brushes off the offer, refusing to think of himself as above other people. Still unaware of his real power, continues taking many odd jobs as possible, which might just make him a pivotal part of the kingdom. Now this is the part I do not like at all. Now we have a character who gets thrown out of the party as a starting point, fine. He's not good at fighting, cool. He's super good at everything else, any production kind of job. Cool, okay. I can get behind that. He is unwilling to accept that he's good at those things. He is just a goody two-shoes. He's just, hey, I'm nice and I'm only seeing the best in all people and I'm going to do the best I can and help everyone. And he's stupid. I do not like all these traits together. Now, as in the description, the girl Ulysses, she was like, hey, you are really good at doing this stuff, at building and mining and stuff. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to accept that. Understandable at some point, because we find out later he was from a village and that village had all awesome people. However, he now lives in an environment who no one can do what he can do. And he's just unwilling to accept that. Which is like, okay, it's already meh at this point. Then we get to all these crazy situations and he's solving these situations by just coincidence. And it's not that he's lucky. This would be another story you could do, like he's just really lucky. No, he's in one example, he's making food and that food has like cleansing abilities for some reason, even though he didn't plan that. And it just heals people, and it's like, yo, we just healed someone that needed healing, and he just did that because coincidence. And that is mostly the story. He's doing something and coincidentally it is going to help solve some kind of issue. And it's like, yay. You can't even get hyped. It's not like he's coming and he's like really strong and he's fighting someone, or he's making a spell that is going to help everyone, or he's making a concoction for a specific problem. Now it's like, as example, like he's walking down a road and bam, the road is then repaired, and yay, he repaired the road because the road is being used by the king the next day, whatever. It's not very interesting. The better character, in my opinion, is Eulalia. She seems fine. This is a fine character. You then have the other girl who is naturally a higher born character, because you need higher born characters, I guess, in fantasy. And naturally those two like him. He's unable to see that they like him. The typical, he doesn't have any character trait that is interesting, in my opinion. It's really like, hey, the gimmick is he's super OP, he's doing stuff, and by doing this stuff, even though he did not intend it to happen, he's solving every issue, which is like only interesting for like 1 or 2 episodes, and then it gets old real quick. And that is mostly the story. That is the anime. You have this little gimmick. They try to pull this gimmick off like the whole time, and it falls flat at some point, in my opinion. So on any list, people gave it like a 64%. On my anime list, 6.5. And I would also say it's a 6 out of 10. It's meh. It's not offensively bad. I would say it is offensively mediocre, which is even worse. You can't even make fun of the anime or of stuff that is happening. It's not. As example, you could have a character like Eminence in Shadow. You could have like Shadow, who's like over the top, he's OP, but whenever he comes up, he is showing that he's OP. He has his little quirks he's going for. And that story, in my opinion, little rant at the end. Eminence and Shadow, in my opinion, would be pretty boring if he is always the focus. But he's not. Because I am assuming the author accepted, hey, this would be boring in the long run. So we get all these characters that are not as OP as him, and we make some interesting story with the cult and how they develop and stuff. You don't really have that here. We follow this guy. He's just, tripping over the solution to every problem. We get one character that I feel like is very acceptable. The rest of the group is like, okay. They also don't really ever try to hammer down that he is OP. They never sit down and are all like, hey, Kurt, you're just really good at building, cooking, and all this stuff. You are really good at that. And really get him to accept that. They just run with him being unaware. And it got old real fast.